They say you are what you eat, and that is why I am both a pussy and an asshole. And SPNanon, the host of the Strip Poker Night at the Inventory podcast. This is episode 89. I am here back again with my co-host, Nord, who may be a pussy and an asshole. He'll have to confirm for himself.
No, I'm not an asshole.
No? Not even a little?
No. I am a pussy, though. And a dick.
Mymans, what about you? He's our guest, by the way.
I am an M&M's.
Mymans, what have you made for this game? You were here last a little under a year ago. You had the honor of coming on when I was LARPing as Critical, and also to talk about when Maya and Jura first hit testing with their updates, their big art updates. So it's nice to have you back. What have you been working on since? What have you made for the game?
Well, it is nice to be back. So last time I was here, if I remember correctly, it was when I put Aqua on main. Was it when she hit testing? Well, in any case, it was Aqua. So what have I been doing? Well, since then I have not added any more characters to the testing roster or the main roster, but I have been working on a lot of projects. I have been doing some outfits for characters. So like currently I only have 3 characters on main, which are Fluttershy, Setogaya, and Aqua, but I have adopted a couple of other characters, which are Yunyun, Senko, Kazuma, and Navi. And for Senko, I added 1 outfit and kind of another, but it was already there, so yeah. So those are like the main things that I did. Then after that, I also, for the April Fool's event, which we'll get to later, I made a character for it, and I made a costume for Mari Setogaya. Outside of that, I have quite a lot of projects I'm working on right now. My upcoming characters, if you will, are Navi, reworked. Navi the fairy from Ocarina of Time, the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I will be reworking her because I really like fairies and she's a character that I find cute. And so I decided that I was going to rework her. I got the permission to adopt her, but really she's going to be a mostly completely new character with new dialogue, a new model, and all sorts of things. And outside of that, I'm also working on a character that is not very well known. Probably most of the people that may listen to this, or all of them even, won't know her. Her name is Gokicha. She's a cockroach girl. She's from a manga series of the same name. And basically, I think she'll be a fun addition because she's a literal cockroach. She's cockroach-sized, and I won't go into detail on how I'm going to handle that for the game because I think it'll be more fun if we just see it, and it's a little hard to explain, but yeah, those are the 2 projects I'm working on, but I also have many others that are upcoming as well for after those make it on main, but for the near future, that's what can be expected. Those 2 characters, Navi and Gokicha.
I'm going to be real with you, dog. You are not going to get me to love a cockroach.
That's fine. Hating her is just as valid. It creates great comedy. That's what happens in the manga for the most part. She just gets beat up.
She is cute. Okay, maybe I won't crush her, but like, get out of my fucking house.
I mean, all the better.
As for Navi, okay, well, first of all, why do you like girls that are like 2 inches tall? I'm sensing a theme here.
Okay, well,
you're gonna make Tinkerbell next?
Gokicha, I don't really like her because of her size, but more so because like the fact that she's a cockroach makes for a lot of gags that I found funny while I was reading the manga, and I felt like she was endearing to me. I felt a little sorry for her and how she kept stumbling around because people had the reasonable reaction to a cockroach, which is spraying her or trying to stomp her and stuff like that. But for Navi, I will shamelessly say that I am a fairy fucker. I like the size difference deal with fairies. And, you know, that content not very common. Not that common compared to other, what's the word, kinks, you could say. Yeah. So yeah, the size difference thing with fairies, not super common to see. And in SPNatI, Navi is the only like small fairy. The other fairy is Q, and she's not small. She's human sized. And Navi, she's in SPNatI right now. She's very outdated. She has not been maintained for a very long time. She's a pretty old character by now. So I figured, fuck it, I'm going to update Navi because I want to see a fairy in SPNatI, and I actually like Navi. So two birds with one stone.
Didn't she get like a whole model update by what was it, Nomlet? Did he do that?
She actually got two model updates by him. She first got one, which was the one I was going to go with, but then I don't remember which year, but in a feedback poll, someone said that model didn't really look like Navi. And so I asked people on the SPNatI Discord server, and they kind of agreed. They were like, yeah, I mean, some said they liked it, and I don't think anybody said like that it was like a bad model, but many people said that it wasn't like exactly what they pictured when they thought of Navi. So then
I remember the consensus being it was a well-made model, but it was more of a like Nomlet original rather than being what you would think of when you think of Navi.
He has a distinctive, very hippie style, very thigh-centric. Does she have an official design that's not just a blue ball of light?
She does not. I don't believe there is any official Zelda artwork or merchandise or any of the like that has Navi in a non-ball of light form. So it's mostly up to like fan interpretations or headcanons.
Well, thanks for being prepared and talking about the stuff you're working on. I'm looking forward to covering it in a future episode, and we'd love to have you back. But if you like fairies so much and you're into size difference, you could have just gone the other way. Make the great fairy.
Now, I could have done that, and I won't say that I don't like giant women, because I do. I like...
you can actually see her pussy and asshole.
Yeah. But the one, that's a size difference that is harder to do in SPNatI, because in SPNatI it's easier to go smaller than it is to go larger. But two, for me personally, I prefer it when fairies are small because of the idea that the fairy is like small enough that like you can hold her in your hand. That big of a size difference, that's to me, that's what does it. So that's why I went with like Navi instead of the Great Fairy. Although maybe I could give Navi
a body around your dick. Okay, I get it.
Okay, yeah, that too. I will not I will not act like I am innocent. That is part of it too.
Oh, well, thank you for shilling your own stuff. It's time to move into the very brief host shilling corner. Let's start with Nord. Nord, which size difference do you prefer?
I like tall women. I also like I like very tall women. I also like shorter girls in the sense of
you have that halfling OC.
Yes, like it has to be like a fully formed person, but they're just like scaled down 50%. Don't know what it is. Halflings in general are underrated.
They're also undersized. Is there anything you're working on that you'd like to shill that we won't talk about today?
Many things. I've got a whole Trello board now to keep track of everything. I've promised little things here and there to people, and it very quickly adds up again. But at the moment, I'm definitely focusing on adding more content to some of my existing characters. Lots of targeted banter and the like. I just give Zeke and Pandoria have made it to main roster. We won't talk about them in detail today. But I've ended up giving them 3 collectibles already. 1 for just playing a full game with them.
And 3 forfeits.
soon to be 4.
Oh boy.
Collectible for just playing a full game with them, a game for collectible for beating them that explains how you can see their different forfeit variants, and then just for fun, I added Eye of Shining Justice mode, where the collectible hint tells you exactly how to activate this, but if you beat Zeke when he's in try hard mode, you can get his eye patch and wear it. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun to make.
A lot of fun to target. As for me, I don't actually have too much to show this time, so we're finally going to wrap up and move on into the agenda. I've been a little quiet on the art front. What I've done recently mostly is just to adjust Maya's doggy style poses. I moved her legs down. I foreshortened her calves some more, hopefully, because they should play better with the background. The background's pretty shallow. I can't have her go too deep in there. I also made this lying back pose, which I thought looked nice, but you continuously nitpicked.
Yeah,
you're still not happy with it.
It's just the problem of the Kisake legs. It looks too flat. Like I would almost say you would have to draw entirely custom legs for that. And in fact, I'm pretty sure, like after this cast, I can share with you some custom assets you could steal from.
Okay, yeah, sure, Mister. Just draw everything in Flash now. Okay,
not even
nothing good enough.
You draw it in Paint.net as well.
Well, to be fair, there are certain poses that are like really hard to do in Kisake because it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, doing anything other than just like facing forward poses is already more than Kisake was equipped to handle. So the fact that it's really hard to get like angles and stuff makes sense considering that, you know, it's Kisake. So really, that's why drawing is oftentimes like makes things much easier.
I'm just trying. I actually have the. I'm just trying to make as many perspectives as possible. You know, it'll all help for all. It'll all pay dividends for the epilogue. You know, you can have her leaning back like this while you're eating her puss. Yeah, that's it for me basically. For now, I've mostly been working on daily generic line revisions. That's why I've been putting out updates even more than usual. That's just been my goal, to slowly over the course of like months and months, just get their generic lines, May and Jura, to a place I'm happier with. I mean, Jura's especially so old, about as old as Navi.
I mean, by the time you're done revising,
Navi's an old ass character at this point, old and busted. What?
They have so many lines that by the time you're done revising their current set, the ones you've already done will be outdated again, and you'll have to start all over.
Well, yes. I've actually already had this experience. I do think I'm finally at a point where like their voices are just good enough, though. Like I do see an exit strategy. Just need to get there. But anyway, I do want to make a brief mention that the resort is currently going on. What number resort is this? You're a mod.
Good, excellent question.
I'd tell you to go vote in the resort, but Solitaire is busy right now. He hasn't even started editing the previous episode, 88. So let's be real. Like by the time this episode comes out, it'll already be over and done with, and Nami will have amassed like 1,000 votes.
Okay, dear editor, please cut out the bit where it looked like I didn't know what resort this was.
He's not going to do that.
This is SPNatI Resort 17.
17. Okay. Well, it's been about 17 minutes total recording, I think. Hopefully some of that was dead air. Let's get into the main thing that we're talking about today, which is the end of this podcast. That's all we have to talk about today. April Fools! April Fools! Practical joke. Were you surprised?
Oh my goodness, guys. We got bamboozled.
Were you surprised? Were you ready to click off the video? We got a number of new April Fools characters this first week of April. More than last year. Last year was very quiet for April Fools, and I thought it would be like, I think we only got 2 last year. maybe a little more. Like previous years were like huge with the content. There was one where they had like, I swear, like a dozen of them. Last year was a little dialed back, and this, I'd say, a healthy amount. We got 4 full characters and 2 alt skins, which each those alt skins are what each of you are actually, responsible for. But we will get into those last. Let's first give the new April Fool's characters their due. There's a little bit more to talk about with them compared to like an alt skin, but at the end of the day, there's not too much. So we'll try to move relatively quickly. Starting off, we have a character from Zero Wing. I believe the Genesis game it was on. And with the famous line that I probably should have opened this episode with, "How are you, gentlemen?" It's cats.
What you say?
If you heard that name, you'd probably be expecting something vaguely cat related, like Raku-chan or Koneko-chan or something. Even if you were around back in the good old days when memes were actually funny and not just mean spirited, making fun of people I don't like. And this is back when memes were just like making fun of like shitty translations in video games. If you're not familiar, Zero Wing is an infamous, I think it's a Genesis game with possibly the worst translation ever, just garbled English throughout. All your base are belong to us. Someone set us up the bomb. It's this guy. Yeah, it's this guy. He does all of this by a new creator named Endymio with help from Blue Jay. And he basically just talks in that garbled English the whole time. He has a couple other things going on, but Mymans, what was your cat's experience? He's like a cybernetic robot guy. He's the villain that talks to them on the screen. That's him.
Now, I am like on the relatively younger side of people that aren't from the newest generation. So I wasn't entirely there when this meme was like mainstream, you could say. But I was around in the internet back in the day. Like, I was there. What's a good way to put it? When, like, a little after YouTube got rid of the rating system where it was stars, and then it changed to a different one. I joined after the change, like a little after that. So I think that should give like a timeline for like how long I've been like online and stuff. So I did know about that meme, although like I didn't see it very often. But the one thing about cats that I found really funny is that this meme, the one of the main things that people remember is the "all your bases are belong to us." When I made Derpina, I was thinking of memes from like that like period of time, and she actually references that one in one of her lines. I think she says "all your clothes are belong to us" or something when a character strips. So I found it really funny that somebody was making cats, because I was like, oh hey, it's that character from that meme that like Derpina references. So it's like that's 2 SPNatI characters that are related to that meme now. How funny, and that like call back to old school internet meme humor, and I thought it was fun. I thought that was really fun. Now, as far for Cats himself, now his model I think is really impressive. It looks really good. It looks like a great Kisuke translation of the character of the sprite. I think it looks really good. That's probably like one of the strongest parts of this character. How the model just looks like cats, you could say. Now, as far as for the character, his main deal is like the way he talks and the stuff that goes on, and maybe the fact that he had possibly the craziest collectible unlocking conditions in the game when he dropped for April Fools. That was I think that's gonna get changed. I think I heard Endemio say something like that. But man, if you have it right now, that's some bragging rights. Holy fucking shit! I
Yeah,
don't have it.
no.
I don't have the time to try to unlock it. Unfortunately. Oh man.
Let me explain. Okay, so he doesn't actually strip or anything. I'm not sure if he's even like physically supposed to be there. He just like has a bunch of like screens and loses them and reports on them. Like, oh, we lost this, we lost that strategic area, and like his screens go down. I think he has 8 layers, and apparently Zero Wing, which I've never played. It's a perfectly fine game past the opening cutscene, I believe, but it has 36 endings apparently. So.
And a lot of them are just the developers saying completely like random and confusing things. Yeah.
And apparently Endemio was just fucking around too, because that's so basically he decided, hey, I'll adapt that by making a collectible where you have to beat cats, not play with cats, beat cats 36 times.
Then you get his cape.
A bit more than necessary. For reference, like the mods can tell you, like it's specifically because he's an April Fool's character. Like you're not allowed to just like make something ridiculously grindy like that normally.
Yeah, I basically said that he can get away with it for like the event itself, but now that the event's over, he should revert it to be like beat cats 5 times or something much more simple than that. That's usually the rule given to characters in the main game, is you should really make collectibles that you can get within like 10 games or less.
Yeah,
any more than that, it's a bit unreasonable.
This is a new creator. He's probably just really excited to work with the game and try new stuff, but it's like, yeah, come on, dog. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not sure I even want to beat Maya in a game 36 times, maybe, but it's like I ain't got time for that.
Apparently, Cats isn't even a character, in that he is just a like representative of the enemy faction called Cats.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his deal is exactly. He looks like the Borg. Is he Locutus?
Presumably it's some kind of cyborg hive mind deal going on.
Nor, do you have thoughts on Cats as the character besides the collectible thing?
I found him quite amusing. I love the his reactions for like male crotch reveal is army main base in sight, and for a female crotch reveal, I think it's troop depot is vulnerable. It's a fun little April Fool's character. Good as a first project to have learned the character editor with. Although I see a note in his other notes section that says, I might drop dead of a brain aneurysm if I use the character editor any longer. So time will tell if Endemio tries this again.
I enjoyed him. He was funny. Honestly, it might be one of those things trying to write in broken English like this, where it's like trying to make a bad movie on purpose. It's hard. It's something that's just got to come naturally, because like a lot of his lines were honestly pretty intelligible.
I had him write up the Twitter post announcing the April Fool's event to speak in the method of Cats.
Yeah. Anyway, one couple quick last things. I was actually surprised how much he emoted. I think this is just Blue Jay. She wants her pretty boys to make actual facial expressions. I don't think you ever see that in the game. He's always very stone-faced and then or smug. I did enjoy writing targets for him that are just like either Revi's broken English from the original Japanese, or I just straight up wrote Japanese lines for Maya and Jura. They're just in Japanese. Okay, yeah, moving on. Nord, Mymans, I'd just like to take this moment to say that I could not do this podcast alone, and I really appreciate your continued support across all of these many episodes, Solitaire as well. This is really a group effort. Okay, we all need each other's help. Thankfully, there's a character just for this purpose. Helper-chan, another original character by Bluecoin. Pretty much the only guy left who makes original characters. We've chased the rest of them away. Helper-chan is a rather tall, nerdy girl in stockings and a school uniform and vest and skirt and glasses that are kind of high up, and I guess her deal is that she helps you. She has advice. She seems to be a regular at the inventory and just gives advice. I think that's all there is to it. Well, kind of, but why don't you lean into it as well? There is kind of something else to her, but I'll talk about that. Mymans, what was your experience with her?
Okay, so when I first saw her in the April Fool's characters to choose from, right, from like the new ones, the first thing that I thought was like Helper-chan. So she's like the editor-chan, you know, she's like one of those. And I thought that sounds fun. So I think she might have been in my first April Fool's table. So I was pretty excited to check her out. So her deal, right, basically is that she's like this sort of like nerdy girl. She's a mostly normal person, right? Like she's not like an eldritch horror or anything like she's just a normal human, and she's at the inventory, and she based on her dialogue you can infer that she's a regular at the place, and that she has played here a lot, and she's like excited to be here and stuff and to help out, and that's why she's called Helper-chan. So her April Fool's gimmick, right, like her joke, is that her advice is actually terrible most of the time. Like she tells you, I think she tells you to go for like straights in like straight poker hand at some point, things like that. And you shouldn't actually do that. That's a terrible strategy. The RNG is not in your favor for doing that. So that's like an example. She gives advice about things that is just plain wrong. That's kind of like her joke. But aside from that, she's actually pretty normal, right? Like she for the most part, she's kind of like a normal character. Like, I mean, like you could. I think Bluecoin said he doesn't have any interest in doing so, and that's fine. He can do whatever he wants. He's a developer. But I'm just saying, this is a character that is like that could be put on main, and I don't think many people would mind. She doesn't have like any April Fool's gags that would just not work on main, like cats, as we said, because he doesn't strip, he doesn't masturbate, he has a ridiculous collectible. She doesn't have that stuff.
That collectible is definitely masturbatory.
Yeah. She's more like a normal character. And okay, like me personally, I actually kind of like April Fool's characters. Like don't get me wrong, I like all kinds of April Fool's characters. The ones that are funny jokes that don't masturbate, the ones that are what's the word? The ones that like are a bait and switch. You know, it's like, oh, you think it's this character, but actually they get replaced with a cardboard cutout or something. And stuff like that. I like those, but I think the ones that I like personally like the most are the ones that do engage with the sexual aspect of the game, because with the like joke characters, like the car from Initial D, you play them once and that's it. You know, you get the joke. You usually don't have much of an incentive to play with them again. But for the ones that like do kind of engage with the game, you do feel like some desire to play with them again, because they feel like another character to the roster. It's just that they're especially goofy characters, or maybe they're scary. They have some scary twist. I think there's a couple of those like that. So yeah, I personally like her. I did really like Helper-chan. So yeah, like I really liked her. I don't think she wouldn't work if she wasn't for April Fools. But yeah, I did like her as an April Fool's character. But yeah, like her main deal is that she's just a regular girl here at the inventory, and she does a couple of like cute little things that I like how she puts her jacket back on. I think some people may or may not like when characters put some clothes back on when they are done masturbating. Personally, I do like it because it makes their after finished stage look more unique, and it can give like special kind of nude looks, like the nude coat look, which you don't usually see because stripping what's under the coat without taking off the coat is kind of impossible. So that's like one thing, and I think she has a chance to, like, when on the select screen she appears naked and then it's like, oops, sorry, I'm naked from the previous game, let me go get dressed real quick. Or how she, after she's done masturbating, she's like, by the way, we have towels for people to clean up and stuff. That kind of stuff, I thought that was like cute, because like she feels like she engages with the specifics of SPNatI, like you feel like she does indeed. She's a regular at the inventory, and I thought that was nice. So yeah, overall I like her, though she could probably, like, if you wanted to, she could probably be done for main. She doesn't have any like super April Fool's groundbreaking stuff.
I will say, like, well, in a future episode we may cover a blue coin April Fool's original character who is trying for main. We'll see how that shakes out. But Nord, what are your thoughts on Helper-chan? Help us out.
I have a bit of a mixed opinion about her. Like, to be honest, she introduces herself as Nikki at the very start of the game, right? She outright says, "My name's Nikki, call me Helper-chan instead." And the whole thing of it being, you know, a parody of the sort of helper type characters. Like this would be the idea of like taking, as Mymans said, Editor-chan or something and making them a real character. But it's a sort of parody of that idea because she gives advice that is either totally unrelated to the game or is, you know, actively bad. So I'm not really sold on it as like an April Fool's character joke. The thing of her appearing in, like, when you select her, you know, without any clothes on because she has just come from another game, you could maybe get away with that as like, if she was a main roster character, you could get away with that on April Fool's Day, or like after you've already played one game with her. And in general, I don't really agree with this idea of using April Fools as an event as a vessel for putting in original characters into the game, into an environment where you don't necessarily need to be like critiqued as such. I will say though, at the time of recording, Natasha, another OC by Blue Coin, has been added to the testing roster and is looking for sponsorship to go into the main game, so we'll see how that shakes out. And I very much feel like the same could have just happened with Helper-chan straight up. However, that said, I do have some positives to say. The art is quite good, very expressive. I do like that she has braces and they're visible anytime she's smiling with teeth visible. It's a cute detail. I don't think any other character does something like that. Well, no other character has braces. I know, like, Setogaya has the little fangs whenever she smiles because, hey, vampire. So yeah, posing is good, art is good. I like that she puts the green jumper on after she's done. In general, the character concept itself is fine. I don't agree with it as an April Fool's character, but definitely competently made. And that's all my thoughts, really.
You two basically You two basically covered everything. I just want to say, like, as far as like the joke goes, I didn't really get it. Okay, so like the joke is she's Helper Chan, but she's not really that helpful, and like she gives like bad or irrelevant advice. Well, I guess I kind of get the irrelevant part, but like some of her advice was just like it wasn't necessarily good, but it was like at least kind of reasonable. So it's not like all of her advice was bad, and if you're kind of like waffling and weeble wobbling on the joke, and it's not super focused, it's like I don't know, what is this? This is just like Nerd Girl. I guess a lot of people like that, but I'm not really into that, so it just kind of fell flat for me. I didn't really know what she was going for. Like, if you're gonna, it's April Fool's, you know? Like, just have your one joke and just tell it and just fucking just nail it, and that's it.
Yeah, definitely commit.
I didn't really get that with her.
Definitely commit to the bit.
It felt like maybe he came up with like, he's like, oh, I got to make her funny somehow, or I got to like give her a bit like halfway through the creative process, maybe. I don't know. The inner machinations of Blue Coin's mind is an enigma. Are an enigma. Yes. So, we have another character to talk about. Mymans, I said before that you were on an alt skin, or that you made an alt skin for April Fools, but actually I believe you worked on this character as well, right?
Which character?
The character that took the entire game hostage and relocated us to the hot springs.
Oh, right. Sorry, I got a little confused. Yeah, I absolutely did.
Even you forgot about her. So, if you're unfamiliar, which you probably would be, this is a character from Mother 3. I was very surprised that Corgi, the creator of Kumatora, did not work on this, but I believe Blue Jay did, since she did the art for Kumatora. So this is a Hot Spring Woman. If you've played Mother 3 and don't know who this is, I don't blame you. I 100% of the game, and I never ran into her. Apparently, there is a very, very rare chance that you can run into her in any one of the hot springs throughout the game that heal you. And all she says is mixed gender bathing? ? I believe it's like a sub 1% chance you can run into either her or an old man. I never saw either of them, so they are pretty rare. And basically, the joke with her is that she leaves straight away if you're not on the hot spring. You have to specifically go to the hot spring background. And otherwise she just leaves. And that seems like a pretty funny joke. It's like, oh, haha, I'll back out and play her in the hot spring, and she enters the hot spring soon after that. But then, boy, did this!
It's had a snowball effect.
It exposed the player base. Just say that we've already had to deal with a number of people who think that the game is fucking AI written now, because why would a human ever create anything, put any passion into it? And now we have a whole large swaths of the player base apparently just don't read at all, even if something's wrong, even if something's clearly wrong and they submit a bug report for it. They don't like check the dialogue log or just read ahead of time or just like reload it and try again. They just like don't seem to get it at all.
So there's a staggering overlap in players who are able to leave feedback and bug reports, and yet at the same time are unable to read what the character is actually saying. This is at the point where I'm pretty sure Hot Spring Woman had a like custom feedback message saying, "Hey, if she's invisible, go play her on the hot springs." Mymans, I believe you also
they added the word on the wind, which is a real thing in Mother 3 as well. It's just a disembodied voice telling you to go play her on the hot spring background. And even that didn't dissuade people. I think
there was a bug report that was reporting that message saying go play her on the hot spring background, and their feedback report said like invisible, not there.
They're not very smart, okay? They're just here to fap. They may be underage. But the thing is, like, it just got to the point, maybe it was just like update after update trying to get people to get with the program here. I do think one of the big things is that I think there is a number of people who literally don't know that you can change the background. It's not obvious. You can't do it once you've started selecting characters. That's something to work on as well. Maya has collectibles for the background as well, and people kind of need to. People had a hard time figuring that out as well. Mymans, please give your thoughts on the creative process for a Hot Spring Woman, and the torment that you went through with everyone who didn't get it.
Okay, well, actually, to be honest, I found that really funny more than anything. But okay, so Hot Spring Woman is a character that has a surprising amount of lore to her. Not literal lore to like Mother Tree lore. No, not at all. She has no lore from that game. No, I mean lore from her SPNatI creation process. So the reason I even decided to make her at all is that I was talking with Nicole. I think it was in DMs, but I was talking with Nicole. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, Nicole is she made Gygas for April Fools, and Kyoko Kirigiri, I think was her name, Danganronpa character. I think she hasn't hit main yet, but she's on her way to doing it. And yeah, so I was talking with Nicole, and I made a joke comment, right? Like it was like about NPCs, right? Like with one line of dialogue being made for SPNatI, because I think I asked her something like why she made Gygas, and I was like. And I think we were discussing how Mother as a franchise doesn't really have many SPNatI viable characters because most of the protagonists are kids, and most of the other characters are like not really. Mother is not really a sexually attractive franchise. It's more like a goofy, funny franchise that is supposed to be for laughs. So yeah, it was like we were talking about that, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make Hot Spring Woman one line of dialogue NPC. Let's go. But I made that comment as a joke. I made that as a joke. I had no intention of actually doing that. But then I got thinking, it would be really funny if I actually did make a character that only has one line of dialogue from Mother Tree. And that is an extremely rare NPC that you probably never seen. And so I asked Blue Jay on DMs also if she would be down to making a model for her, because she made Kumatora's model, and so I was thinking, well, shit, if she's from Mother Tree, it would make the most sense if the person that made the only other Mother Tree character also made her model. And Blue Jay said yes, and so I decided to make her. So I made her because of that, because I thought it would be funny, because it amused me. That's it. So then I decided to make her. I came up with the idea that, hey, since she's Hot Spring Woman, maybe she could interact with the Hot Spring background. But then I was like, wait, this is April Fool's. I should do something more. And then I decided, fuck it, you can't play her if you're not in the Hot Spring background. Also because I realized that her writing would be really hard if I didn't have an actual Hot Springs to talk about, because that's like her one trait, that she likes Hot Springs, probably. So yeah, I was like, you know what, this would also make writing easier, so I decided to do that thing where you can only play her on the Hot Springs. And also I decided that it would be funny if she got in the Hot Springs after everything is done and she loses and she just gets in because I didn't want to write lines for after she was finished. So I was like, let's just put her in the Hot Spring. Yeah, let's just have her chill there. That way I don't have to write those lines. Hell yeah, and it's funnier. So I did that. And also because it makes a really funny interaction if you play her with Gygas, because she's like taking a dip in the eldritch horrors. It's really funny. I think it's really funny. But yeah, so the big elephant in the room with her is how she kind of exposed players and that they don't read. I actually counted. I have a folder here called Anons that don't know how to read. and it's 27 screenshots of every single bug report that in some way said that she was gone, even though I made everything in my power to tell the player, hey, if you don't play her in Hot Spring, she will disappear. There's 3 different things to tell you. Her line at the beginning of the game where she goes, oh, I'm looking for the hot springs. I'll be on my way now. And then she goes away. The word of the wind that tells you, and the unique feedback message that tells the player, hey, if you can't see her, play her on hot springs. 3 different things that tell the player, hey, do this. And they still sent so many bug reports. So we have... I did not intend for it at all, but she exposed players hard for not reading, and I think that's funny.
I guess I don't need to make those daily generic line revisions because, like, what's the point?
Yeah, she really showed us that players don't read very much.
Yeah. Well, Nord, what did you think of her?
Love her to bits. love turning these like bit part NPC characters into full on SPNatI characters. Hilarious joke. Hilarious unintended consequences. Like I said, I'm pretty sure she took the whole event hostage and dragged everyone to the hot springs. The hot springs like selection shot up by like a massive margin because of this.
I think at the end it was at like 38% of the games were played on the hot spring.
She herself got more plays, vastly more than everyone else. Go figure. Even on April Fools, people want a conventionally attractive woman in a towel. And she is Hot Spring Woman, not Hot Spring Girl. She got a bit of a sag to her you gave her. But yeah, I really liked her too.
Isn't she tagged as mature?
She just enjoys a good hot spring. May and Jur have a hot spring on their ship.
Hot springs are good for your skin.
Yes, I've heard.
Oh yes, my last comment is I love that Gigas has another comment in like Game Over where if you played against Hot Spring Woman, is a secret ending of no, the hot springs are fully healing her. There's nothing I can do.
Do hot springs rejuvenate the undead? Can they restore you to life? There's no zombified status or even mushroomified status in Mother 3. But we did get another zombie. Zombieland Saga's time in the zeitgeist has kind of come and gone. People have talked for a long time about making the different members of Franchocho, I believe it's pronounced. We got Sakura and Saki back in the day, and nothing since, despite all the discussions. But now, for April Fools, we have gotten their non-verbal team member, Tae, here, who mostly just makes like zombie groans the whole time. That's the joke with her. She still has the makeup and zombie reveal like they do. But, I mean, there's something else to react to, the fact that she doesn't really talk at all. So she was easy to play with. My personal review of her, Mymans?
Yeah. All right, so zombification aside, I thought she was really fun. So obviously there's nothing to say about her dialogue because she doesn't have any. She does not talk. She makes zombie noises. So she's the kind of character where you have to get the posing right? Because she doesn't say any real words. So you have to get the posing right. You have to make her expressive, and I think that was accomplished pretty well. I think she's pretty expressive. And yeah, I agree that she was a very easy character to play with because you could play more games with her, you could say, because you didn't have to spend as much time reading text.
Oh, she's for unlocking Cat's collectible.
Yeah, she's perfect for that. So yeah, I liked her. I liked the not many characters target her because April Fools, so it's hard to target April Fools characters because they're short-lived, so to speak. But I like the interactions that she did have with the couple of characters that she did target and that targeted her back. I thought she was a cute little character, cute zombie. And yeah, she just she can't be done for main because she can't talk. So I think this was like the perfect thing. I think it's nice to have her. Man, I gotta check out Zombieland Saga sometime. I really do. Looks fun.
Hey man, what's your problem with girls that don't talk that much?
Well, I can't tell them how awesome Aqua's ass is if they don't talk.
Nord, what'd you think of Tae?
I think this is hilarious that like it's just another legitimate Zombieland Saga character.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is she just can't speak. And what's the saying? 2 is coincidence, 3 is a trend, or something like that. She's the third Zombieland Saga character, and she's also the third Zombieland Saga character to have her head fall off during the game. So I have a feeling that's now just the standard for all future potential ZLS characters. Art is really well done. As Mymans mentioned, very expressive. Does a really good job carrying everything. Despite the fact she just cannot speak.
Yeah, the art was not phoned in at all. Despite the dialogue being so simple. I'm surprised at how much she actually emoted. I thought she was just totally brain dead. But no, she has like actual expressions.
Well, she is brain dead.
She's everything dead. Anything else to say? I mean, she doesn't have much to say.
She's like the most zombie-like zombie of them all, isn't she? Like all the other...
What in God's name is that one pose?
Would pea shooter her?
I mean, solar flares in the game.
I think solar flare and her interact actually, or
yeah, all the zombies in the solar flare and all these characters that are not getting updates, they just they all flocked to her.
Yeah,
she's good though. Very cute. Very, very nice choice if you're a player that doesn't read. We've got plenty of those.
Perfect partner.
That does it for the 4 actual characters we got for April Fools. There are 2 alt skins that we can quickly mention. Mymans, you worked on the first, which was added quite a bit before the event started. Silly Succubus, Mari Setogaya. Yet another costume for her, because she didn't have enough.
Oh, and there's 2 more coming. Be sure of it.
Mm-hmm. What's the deal with Silly Succubus?
Right, so I thought about how Mari had a costume for every event except for the April Fool's one. So I thought, shit, for the sake of closure, let's give her one. But I figured since it's an April Fool's costume, I can do whatever the hell I want and nobody can tell me no. So I thought let's do everything that I can't really do otherwise. Let's do all the fun stuff. So firstly, I decided to give her the non-outfit because I figured that's the perfect immediate thing to like bait the player with, because it's like, oh, Mari is like doubly unholy. She's a succubus and a vampire. Both of her 50% are not holy at all. So I figured, hey, let's make her a nun. That's funny. That's also why she wears an upside down cross for her nun outfit. So after that, I decided, okay, so for her first strip, let's just drop any pretenses of purity and just have her look extremely lewd, to give players the idea that, yeah, this is what's gonna happen with this costume. Lewd nun. That's the deal for this costume, right? And then for the next strip, I tricked the player completely by having evil cardboard cutout Mari, which is an inside joke between me and a couple other devs with like DMs. It has story, but basically it's a Mari Setogaya cardboard cutout, and it is evil and all powerful. And all she does is arrive and Deltarune explosion Mari, and that eliminates her non-outfit and turns her into a clown, because I thought SPNatI doesn't have enough clowns, and it really doesn't. It needs more. Start adding more clowns, you clowns. So yeah,
What are you talking about? I'm hosting a podcast with two of them right now.
Yeah, you're right. Honk honk. So yeah, I decided to make her a clown because I thought it would be funny and it would be the most fitting thing for April Fools. Like, now's the time to be silly. That's why she's called Silly Succubus. And she and I made her have a pose where she honks her butt. It makes a honk now, so I honk noise. So I hope many players saw that, because I had a lot of fun making that pose. I thought it was the best thing ever. So yeah, for her April Fool's out, Mari does something, right? When she turns into a clown, she does something for all of her strips. None of them are normal. Not a single one. None of them. She does something weird or wacky for them. And for at the end, she has like a bear show up, like a bear helper that's called Boomy, right? And it arrives and it helps her taking off her panties in a goofy way. And then for her forfeit, a second Mari comes. She clones herself, kind of, because I thought, fuck it, let's just do the most insane, batshit, whatever thing for her forfeit, because it's April Fool's. I can do whatever I want. So, and also because I wanted to, like, still kind of, like, not completely cock the player or blue ball the player with the sexy non thing. So yeah, since non-Mari shows up for her forfeits, and there's two Maris. And Mari fucks the better because I thought it would be funny. And for her transformations, the chubby form is mostly unchanged. It's just clown chubby Mari, but the cat form did something that I was thinking about. I've been sitting on this one for a very long time. I thought about this like 2 years ago, I think. She turns into a dog girl instead of a cat girl. And I mean, that's just self-explanatory. There you go. That's it. It's a dog girl. It's dog girl Mari. I just really wanted to do all of the stuff that I hadn't done for Mari yet for this costume. So yeah, that's why it has so much in it. And that's also why it took me so long to make it. I think it took me like a good chunk of months to make it. Good amount of time.
You kind of missed the Clussy trend.
Yeah, I sure did, man. I kind of wish, but nope. There you go. Finally made it, and then I shipped it out and was like, well, there you go. Wash my hands, ready for the April Fool's event.
Nord, what'd you think of her?
I think this was an assassination attempt against our resident tagmaster. I was privy to some of the details of this outfit ahead of time, and the more you kept adding to it, the more I was like, you need to be stopped, but also I want you to keep going and see what the end result is. And it's quite hilarious, just for the sheer fact of, yeah, you can do whatever you want when you're just making it like every single part of the costume, adding on the existing jokes. But also, this canonizes evil cardboard cutout Mari, so I hope you know what you've done.
Trust me, I do.
Mari is an extraordinarily popular character on the roster in every regard. Just play stats and bug reports, and just like, I mean, people love her. People really responded to the content you add to her, with all like appealing to the player's taste and so forth. Cat girl and chubby Mari and all that good stuff. And it's even if she's not personally for me, she never really has been. I really respect how much you seem to enjoy working on her. And just a costume like this, it's just goofy April Fools, but you just want to put it all out there and do as much with her as you can think of. And I respect that, and I understand the feeling. So yeah, this is a great addition for the game. All this content for her all at once for people who enjoy Mari in all of her forms. I'm now thinking about the different sound effects that each SPNatI character's ass would make when you squeeze it.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay. we have one last alt skin, one last piece of April Fool's content to cover for this year, 2024. And that is something that Nord worked on. Rosa Hero, the amazing first Riolu girl, and then Lucario girl. Pretty much all of Rosa's costumes are related to movie roles she can take on in the PokeStar Studios side game in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. Famous for being like a 10-minute forced tutorial, like 2 gyms into the game, so everybody hates it and they don't get it. They're basically puzzle battles, but it's introduced to you in just the worst way possible. And this is the only one most people ever see because it's the one you're forced to do, where you fight Bryson, man, with your Riolu. But yeah, so she's like a powerful superhero, fighter for justice. Even in the manga, they do a similar thing with her. She's like the Fungus girl or something. But yeah. As someone who actually did do all the PokeStar Studios movies, I 100%ed it. I got all 3 endings on all the scripts. It's rather repetitive, but it is kind of fun watching them come together, all the custom sprite work and backgrounds that they create. You end up fighting Bryson Man in space at the very end. It's a good time.
It was fun discovering that people have had to like data mine all the like strange endings you get, because you're able to use like rented Pokemon, which is where the like canon Riolu / Lucario comes from, but then you can use your own Pokemon, and then if you use like specific moves or do specific things during the movie battles, you can get strange endings, and it took years for people to document all of them and document the entire script. And I will say that, yes, this is the 3rd costume she has based on something from Black and White 2. The others were the princess outfit and the Time Gate one. And for all 3 of these, it's been a lot of like using fan art or just me having to imagine what is there but off screen on her sprites. Like in this case, I don't think you even see that she has boots on in like the official sprites. But like a lot of people have just gone with she would have like red boots to match. Like gloves.
That's true. You get like little comic panel like side shots of her and of course the back sprite when you send out the Pokemon, but you don't really get a full body shot for most of these.
But yeah, this was a lot of fun to make.
She's basically putting on a brave face and saying
She's putting on a brave face, and I should have done more homework. I should have watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer and other Joss Whedon writing endeavors, because that's part of the gimmick, is that she's the Marvellous Lucario girl. So early on in the game, she talks in very much cliched superhero movie quips, like, did that just happen?
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Awkward. But this was a lot of fun to make. Part of one little thing I did, which is sort of poking fun at the fact that like it's a trope of mine that I use alt costumes as an excuse to do like weird strip orders. I have a sprite where she's like reading from the script, and it's like, why is this my strip order? Who came up with this? And that's part of a like ongoing theme that for Rosa in particular, a lot of her like alt costumes are based on the idea of like she's acting, so she can get away with doing some things that sort of break the Rosa canon a little bit, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, so some of those scripts are pretty weird if you play them in the game. They don't always go where you expect. When are you going to make the 50-foot woman? Do that next week.
It would be the second Monica in the game, and it's just a leg.
Yeah, I mean she's all CGI, but I mean it's April Fool's. Who cares? She can have a car. Mymans, what did you think of Lucario girl Rosa?
Okay, so Rosa, the character that is challenging Mari for having the most alt costumes.
Yeah, you two have a little feud going.
I don't actually care if anybody beats Mari or anything. I don't think it will happen because I am insane and I keep making more costumes for her. But shit, if yeah, and I honestly maybe just maybe I could give her a second Halloween costume, but maybe just maybe I don't know. I'm crazy enough to do it, but I don't have any idea. So only if I get a good idea for it. Anyway, yeah, I've been saying, and I keep giving more costumes, but I like that. I like to see other characters get a lot of costumes too because it's just fun and it gives you a good opportunity to check out a character that you like, but again, and this time they have a new look. So yeah, Rosa is a character that I really like her. She's a regular at my tables, if you will. Like I play with her a lot. She's a character that sometimes I'm like, how do I finish off this table? I go, oh, Rosa, yeah, she's an easy pick, right? Because she's like really nicely written, right? She's just a sweet girl and stuff, and yeah, she has that one short and sweet epilogue too. That is a nice way to finish off after a game. But yeah, so yeah, for the Riolu costume, for the Riolu girl. Oh wait, was it Lucario? Well, whatever. Her costume, I really liked it. I think that like so it has it doesn't have like a lot of super costume custom stuff, right? It's a costume that was like made with some Kiseki defaults, right? But the thing that I want to like really like praise is that I think that the color picks were really good. I think it really pops out. I think it uses very vibrant colors, so it gives her like a very nice look. It makes her really stand out. You're like, oh hey, this is the superhero girl. Look at her. She's like where my eyes felt drawn when I was playing with her with this costume. And like the one thing that I could say about this costume that I wish there was more of is that I wish she had more funny, like awkward kind of quotes, because the ones that she did have, I really liked her. So if there's anything I want to see for this costume, if you ever update it, it's just more of that, because those lines were really funny. I think I liked them. I thought that was really charming and stuff. So yeah, no, I just love Rosa. She's a really solid character, really lovely little girl to pair up, right? And I love how she has so many costumes too.
I mean, those Marvel quips are not really how she talks in the scripts in the game, but
she doesn't really talk in the games, right?
Yeah,
your lines. You talk.
You get a choice of dialogue, but I realized that I wanted to go in a different direction to that because it felt a bit awkward trying to directly translate the movie into like actual quips, and so I thought, screw it, I'll just do the Marvel meme.
I like what you said about Altskins kind of giving you an excuse to revisit a character, because Rosa is kind of uniquely interesting among the Pokemon trainers, like the nameless Pokemon trainers, because Black and White 2 have so much side content that you can participate in and like changes you so much, like all these costumes, that she has a lot to talk about. So she's always a nice inclusion, and she's just a really sweet girl.
And she has heroin in her veins.
Those were 2 alt skins. And I think we will end things off with something else that Nord made, which is basically an alt skin as well. An alternate epilogue skin. Gloria, another nameless Pokemon trainer that he basically just stapled the personality onto. Previously had a female epilogue. I'm not sure why he made it female first, maybe to satiate the female crowd. But she now has a male epilogue. Or a male variation on that epilogue. It's basically the same thing, but it's for males now. Nord, please talk about that process real quick and its content, although it's largely the same. So, sort of.
Well, the original. I'll quickly revisit the original, which is going down. I made going down specifically because I realized there was such a drought of like female player oriented content in general. I wanted to seek like the input of our like female developers and community members and get their input of what would you want to see in a like short and simple epilogue. And I tried my best to go forward with stuff of like what would a female what would a woman who is actually into female characters like to see, rather than just taking a male player epilogue and then swapping out the dude for a dildo. And so, like, I got a very positive reception to it, but of course, I anticipated people would be like, please make a male version. I kind of sat on that for a while because I didn't feel super motivated to go back and like copy it all immediately. But now that I think it's like 7 or so months after that, I got a random surge of inspiration, and I decided to ride that inspiration into like both making the male version and also revising the female version, because you made the fair critique that it only had one skin tone for the player and it wasn't a like generic blue or pink or grey, and it's just because I didn't want I can't really explain why. I just didn't want to go with a generic colour for the player, but in hindsight I should have done that rather than picking a like vaguely like olive skin tone instead. So what I've done is I've done the same thing I did with Mia's epilogue and what Metallitar did with Nami's epilogue, and I've made it so that if you start a game against Gloria, it records your current player skin tone tag, and it uses that for the epilogue sprites. And then for the male version, getting busy, I just went with what excited me the most.
Blowjob and cowgirl?
Yes. Which is
But,
equivalent.
not too daring.
Which are equivalents to what happens in the female version.
Mymans, what's your take on all this?
Well, okay, so I actually really liked that Gloria had a female epilogue, because I agreed with the idea that female players were getting kind of like cocked as far as epilogues went. Most of the ones that were coming out were only for males, because well, a lot of the developers were males, or a lot of the characters were females. So you make an epilogue for males, right? So female players were kind of like not getting fed a lot of epilogues. So I thought, this is nice. This is a very nice addition, right? That Gloria actually has one, and one that is like not just the male one, but with a dildo instead of a penis. I was like, that's cool. That's really nice. So I didn't actually care too much that she didn't have a male variation, right? Because there's already so many other epilogues with it, and Gloria in the game itself, like in non-epilogue SPNatI, what a noble concept, already flirts with the player a lot and like engages very sexually with the game, and is just like overall attractive and flirty. So I didn't really feel like I was starving for male appealing content with her. But now she has a male variation for her epilogue, and I mean, I definitely like it. So I think it has it's a relatively simple, short and sweet, to the point kind of epilogue, right? Like Rosa's, or like Mari's, the Omori Mari, not the one that I made, not Mari Setogaya. She doesn't have one. She doesn't have an epilogue, not yet. But yeah, I really liked that she has like a more simple kind of epilogue, because I feel like we need more of those, so that people don't feel like you have to do a lot of stuff for an epilogue, because you really don't. I think you can just do like more simple stuff. Like, that's not to say that putting in a lot of effort to make crazy costume perspectives like Ringo's does, or doing a super incredibly long epilogue like Nami's, there's nothing wrong with that. If you have the time and you have the ability to do that, that's fine. But I think that a lot of developers maybe got scared from giving their character an epilogue because they felt, I can't just make a simple epilogue. That's lame. That's not what the players are expecting. So that's why I like when there's more short and sweet to the point epilogues. But yeah, so with Gloria's, yeah, if I remember correctly, there's a blowjob, there's cunnilingus, and then there's cowgirl. So yeah, I know there you go. There's those sex scenes, and I think it's done well. It doesn't have like super crazy animations, but I think it works. It's very nice, and I liked it. I like that it has the male variation, but honestly, I'm so used to it being the female one that I think that I might like that one better, just because that's the one I'm used to. So yeah, but very nice addition. I'm glad that it is there. But yeah, just nice to see more epilogues, and definitely nice to see Gloria getting more content.
All I can say about this epilogue really is things that I think I said about the female version, which are the player's body in relation to her seems kind of small, a little weirdly small, proportionally, and it was weird that she didn't it was mostly narration. Like, she didn't do a whole lot of talking or like any kind of like dirty talking in general, which, that is kind of her whole appeal, is the accent. So it's weird that you didn't lean into that too much.
Fair enough. It comes from the fact that it was a fair criticism of the first one, and it's a fair criticism of this one, but it is also just the sort of style I was going for, of it being a short vignette without much focus on an extended dialogue. And here's the thing, it feels like I've heard advice going both ways, which is you saying, oh, don't have them talk too much, just have them show what is happening. And then I've also heard there shouldn't be any narration to explain non-verbal actions, which is difficult to do when you're doing barely more than a PowerPoint.
I only bring up the talking specifically because that is kind of Gloria's thing.
Yeah. But yeah, what I'm getting at, what I was going to get at is it's like a holdover from it being a copy of the epilogue that was already there. So the style didn't really get changed.
Fair enough. Any content is good content, I say, and we covered quite a bit of content today. April Fool's is always a big spike in plays for the game. It generates a lot of attention just for a few days. It's nice to see everybody up and working and milling about in the community and trying all the new characters at once. So we hope we gave them enough time. The 4 new characters, the 2 alt skins, and Gloria's epilogue, which is not an April Fool's thing. But thanks for coming on, Mymans. Thanks for coming on, Nord, as always. Do either of you two have anything you'd like to say at the end?
There's a 1 in 4 chance of getting a different ending to Gloria's epilogue. I refuse to elaborate further if you don't already know.
Maybe you should have to complete it 36 times.
Maybe.
Well, all I can really say is that it has been a pleasure to be here, and I hope I can participate again sometime in the future. And I have a lot of stuff cooking, so I hope I'll be able to talk about it at some point, because I am very excited about it. And yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff that I think players will enjoy. So I hope that'll be fun, and I'll get to talk about it again here, because it has been fun being here and stuff. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Pussy.